Aloha everyone, this is Chesapeake Movie Thoughts, and yesterday I went out to the movies to see Solo, a Star Wars story, which if you've been paying attention to movie news, you heard about that had a very disappointing opening weekend, which was not at all deserved. This was a fantastic movie. This was classic Star Wars. It wasn't long after the movie started that I soon realized I had a big stupid grin on my face that really stayed there throughout the whole movie. This was fun. The lead actor, I forget his name, but the actor playing Han Solo, the movie trailers did not do him justice. Now, he is not Harrison Ford. He is definitely not Harrison Ford. So you never really get that moment on screen where you're looking at him and you're saying, oh yeah, that's Han Solo. But you're also never getting any moment on screen where you're looking at him and saying, no, that's definitely not Han Solo. So I'd have to say he is adequate. And he's not spectacular at the role, but who other than Harrison Ford is going to be? But he is adequate. And I think what helps is that the writing for Han in this movie, the dialogue they wrote for Han, is very on point, very Han Solo dialogue. It's, just, it would be delivered with a little extra oomph by Harrison Ford, but this actor did fine. He did a good job. I mean, not a spectacular job, but he did a good job. I think with that, with the writing being so on point, I think that's what saves the performance, because Harrison Ford could take dialogue that's not particularly good Han Solo dialogue and make it sound like something Han Solo would say. I don't think this actor would be able to do that, but they gave him good stuff to work with, so it worked out. Lando was, okay, I definitely had the moments watching Lando where it's like, yeah, that's Lando. So we did get that, but with Donald Glover in that role is definitely a good choice. I was totally buying him as Lando the whole time. Chewbacca was fantastic in this. But when have we seen Chewbacca not be fantastic? Chewbacca's is going to be one of your favorite characters in this movie. Then we have we get introduced some new characters. One that's being played by Woody Harrelson. He was good. He plays a major part in the movie. There's a love interest for Han named Kira, and she was good. She was decent in the role. The actor that you may recognize from Avengers plays the Vision, plays the villain in this, and he's a pretty decent villain, pretty intimidating. He's like a mob boss kind of villain, working. It's like a lieutenant in the crime world. He's like the right hand man to like the big mob boss that's kept his identity is kept secret until the end. Which is a cameo, and it's a spoiler, and it's very intriguing. I'm not going to give it away, but it's a very intriguing cameo, which is probably the biggest surprise in the movie. But I was happy to see that. Some things I didn't like about the movie. Weakest point, I think, there's a certain character, a droid named L3, and you can see what they're going for with this. The character it's a droid with, like, way too much personality for a droid. And you can tell that they were trying to recreate a version of K2SO, who kind of stole the show in Rogue One. So it's like they were kind of going for the same thing here. Did not pull it off this time, I didn't think. The character was a lot more grating than K2SO. K2SO was just funny and enjoyable to watch. This one was kind of grating. So L3 was probably the weakest point. A couple other things. There are times in the movie where the movie is making a point to answer certain questions about Han's past. And questions that really nobody was asking. Nobody wanted to know the answer to these questions. They were just happy with... They were happy with these questions being left to the imagination. But they go ahead and answer questions. Sometimes a question that nobody would have thought to ask, and that is a little distracting. But other than that, I mean, this is classic Star Wars. The advertisements were very bad for this movie. This is strange because Disney and Star Wars have always been good at the marketing, and it's like it has reached the point that Star Wars almost doesn't even need marketing. But I guess I was kind of wrong about that, because this movie, I think, suffered because of poor marketing. And yeah, it's weird to think a Star Wars movie would suffer from poor marketing, but I think it did. The trailers that came out, they made me think, they like put some emphasis on like, oh, we're putting together a team. It made it seem like it was like they're going to be following the classic tropes of the heist movie. And although heists do occur in this movie, it's not set up as a heist movie. It's set up as a classic Star Wars adventure, sci-fi fantasy adventure in the Star Wars saga, and it's awesome. It's awesome at that. It's not as thought-provoking as the Last Jedi, or not quite as nostalgic and return to form as The Force Awakens was. But it's a good palate cleanser. It's like exactly the palate cleanser we need after The Last Jedi, because Last Jedi is kind of heavy, kind of dark. This one's just fun. And I am so happy to see this, and I just wish it had done better in the box office. From what I'm hearing people say about it, is that it's good, and that they enjoyed it, but that it's just not great. It's not. So it seems like it's not going to have a lot of legs. It's not going to be looked upon too much in the future. And it looks like it's kind of trying to set up for sequels. And I heard the actor playing Han has been signed for 3 movies at least. So it looks like they were maybe planning to do a Han Solo trilogy. And with it doing so poorly, I don't know if they're going to go through with that. And that would be a shame, because I would like to see more. These kind of like little story threads they left dangling as sequel bait, I'd like to see those followed up on. And I don't know if we're going to get that. And I would certainly be happy of seeing Han and Chewie again. Particularly Chewie, but this Han Solo, if they keep up the good writing for him, I accept him. I will accept him as Han Solo. And of course, we love that character, so yeah, I would like to see more. I just don't know if we're going to get it. But then again, we all know the prequels are canon, and we know how much people don't like the prequels. Which, to be fair, the prequels, I think, are okay sci-fi movies. They just don't live up to Star Wars standards. They've got a lot of flaws to them, but there's a lot of good things to them that they can pull from. And we may be starting to see them pull some of the good things and sort of revisiting those things. We've heard there's a Obi-Wan movie has been greenlit. We are going to see an Obi-Wan movie. We're assuming Ewan McGregor, who did a good job playing Obi-Wan in the prequels, will be returning to play Obi-Wan again. See, there's a good example of something from the prequels that can be revisited. That was a decent part of the prequels. So I mean, it's part of Star Wars. Star Wars is like the movie franchise of our time, and the prequels are a part of it. It's and they're we can ignore the stuff. We can just let the stuff that we didn't like just stay in the prequels. But there is stuff we can pull from the prequels and do more with that was actually good. It's just you have to kind of pick and choose. And I hope Han Solo's own movie doesn't become that. Because, I hope that it gets... it gets at least as much attention and pulling the good stuff from it as the prequels. But the thing is that it's mostly good. Whereas the prequels, you kind of have to look for the good stuff. This movie Solo was mostly good. If you look for the bad stuff, you can find it, but it's mostly good. You probably haven't seen it since the box office was so low. I heard it was lower even than Justice League in the opening weekend. If you haven't seen it, go to movies and see it. It is worth a watch. It's going to be fun. It's going to feel like Star Wars, and it's not going to be what you heard. If you heard that it was just okay, or that it wasn't that good, no, it's a top tier. Of course, the top tier is like anything that's not the prequels. But yeah, I'd say I liked it better than Rogue One. I probably liked it more than Rogue One. I mean, it's not as good as a saga film outside of the prequels. It's better than the prequels, not as good as The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. And I'm one of the people that loved The Last Jedi, by the way. So it's probably not as good as Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but probably better than Rogue One. There's your rank. The prequels are at the bottom. The original trilogy is at the top, and in the middle there you get The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, then probably Solo and Rogue One. And that's how I see it. Go to the movies. This movie can probably use the box office support. So go to the movies, go see this movie. It's a fun adventure that it kept me grinning throughout most of it. Maybe a groan here or there, but mostly it's a grin. Like, comment, subscribe. That's a wrap.